getting ready to lag. This is a race to 10. The 9 is racked on the spot. It is alternate the break. Makes a big difference. Brad and I talked about it last match. I think it's an important factor with a little bit bigger pocket. Playing on the beautiful black diamond, 4.5-inch pockets, and the lag is off.
Just when I say you're seeing a lot less carbon, Earl's the first shooter we see with a carbon shaft. There you go. So still in the mix.
Oh yeah, definitely in the mix. Most of the elite players are still using the carbon shaft. Now I'm talking about the 800 Fargo guys. They're definitely still into it, but they're starting to veer away a little bit more. There you see the waders, or the weight belt. I'll tell you what, the cue, extremely heavy. I believe it's like 70 inches. He does have good theories behind it. I know everybody thinks it's insane, but there's real good theories behind it. What the cue will do is go through the object ball, or excuse me, the cue ball a lot cleaner, especially with distance. It's more built for the long shot versus close range, but he's so accurate in both that you got to think with his age that the long ball, it's going to help more, and that's really the reason behind it. Kind of like Brad, kind of like the extension when players were using the longer extension, which they've kind of gotten away from. Well, it would help them with the long ball.
Yeah, a lot of guys just leaving them in right throughout the match.
All right, rack number 1. Earl on the lag. Looking to make the 1 in the right middle. All right, didn't get it down. Boy, hit him pretty soft as well. I was a little surprised at how soft he hit him. Take a look. Might have cut the 1 a little heavy.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely something to be said about having the soft break, right? Getting a little bit more control there with that break, but some risk involved. Number one, a lot of tournaments you're not allowed to soft break, and number two, I mean, when you soft break, sometimes I know he was going for the 1 on the side, but he missed the opportunity to get anything else on the break. He leaves Ralph approaching the table in a great position to, make a few balls here and take on an early lead, rack 1.
Yeah, actually kind of a big opening shot here, right? It's just about the speed, even though he's got distance or length of the table to come back. It's one of those shots, it's not straightforward. It's easy to get a little quick on it. So it'll give him a little confidence going forward if he can get nicely on the 2. Doesn't want to finish on the rail, but it's not the end of the world.
Still got plenty of room to work and a big window there to get to the 3 and keep things pushing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to have to put a little inside on it maybe, unless he wants to go directly at the 7. Might be able to catch a piece of the 3.
I think the 7 could be a problem later, right? So it's not a bad idea to get into it now, but also just avoiding the early contact and, floating up to take the 3 in the side could be a great option too.
Well, he's on the rail and so steep. On the rail and so steep that was kind of the problem all along. Yeah, he went into the 7 first there just a little bit, so I don't know, Brad. He might have to just flick the bottom side of this. We'll see what he's got in mind. Yeah, using the 5 as well. Really nicely done. Actually, it cuts him off. I don't know how big the 6 is here.
Unless you see something else, I feel like this is almost a lose-lose, because if you hit the 3, you really open it up, and then, Yeah,
I just don't know where else he can go. That's the only thing. He's going to have to get a little fortunate, and that's not going to happen. He's not going to be happy with it either. Still, a little bit of work to do. These balls can be tricky, right? And he's going to have to come out of this corner extremely thin on the red 3. Otherwise, the cue ball tends to want to kill somewhere up there around the 6. Shouldn't be a big problem. But typically, this hit on this ball that's deep in the pocket, you're wanting to catch it a lot thinner than you typically feel. That's something to be aware of. Wants to just come out left of the 8 here. Yeah, see how he caught it a little thick? That's what caused the distance of the cue ball to slow. A little thinner there, he's going to get a lot closer to the pink.
Much shorter than he wanted to come up there. He barely came into the rail, and even with the rail playing super lively, just got nothing off of it.
Yeah, kind of all a result of the play on the 3, leaving so much distance there in the 4. He can definitely cut at this, though. I don't know that he's in big trouble. I don't know if he can hold the cue ball either, though. Oh, no problem. He's going to go safe. What a clever play. He's cut him off, Brad, from the bottom rail here, so he's going to be forced to go to the top rail.
I think it was smart because the entire rack he's been trying to work his way back into position, and that would have been another big shot. Even if he would have pocketed it, it would have been a big ask to get to the 6 and get right.
I think you'd like to come to the second rail here. Yeah, a lot of good things can happen when you do that. Needs to get it past the side.
Right in front of the side. You're right, though. In another, 2-3 inches of roll there on that 5, this would have been a much different position and put Ralph in a much harder spot. So I think overall it was a great shot. It just didn't pan out the way that he envisioned.
All right, a little steeper than want to be here as well. I thought he might put a touch of outside on that to get a little straighter on the 6. He should be fine. Pockets are fairly forgiving, but we did see Thorpe miss a couple of these in his last match, just catching it a fraction thick. Yeah, such a good decel in the final swing there to hold the cue ball. Got a couple of interesting stats I want to talk about with these two players. Both of these guys have something in common, Brad, and I'll touch on what they did. But 2006 happened to be both of their best years to date, really, as far as their last real good years. Now, don't get me wrong, they both have had great years since then. They're both still world-class players. 2006, both of them together were their best years, which is kind of ironic. And the surgeon going to take game number 1.
CrossroadCues.com offers hassle-free, zero-interest financing on the most popular cue brands like Samsara, McWhorter, Nitty, and Southwest. With lightning-fast shipping, your cue will arrive in time for your next match. Buy, sell, trade, and consignment are also available at crossroadcues.com. Don't wait. Contact us today.
And we're back. We're going to get our first look at Souquet's break. Earl was, in my opinion, that was pretty soft. I don't think you're allowed to soft break him. Not saying he is, but that was on the softer side of the break. I don't think Ralph will hit him that easy. Ralph actually a little underrated with his power. Yeah, but he's just short with the one there, so he almost kind of broke him head on there, Brad. It didn't even really look like he cut him much.
Yeah, it didn't look like he went for that one ball over in the side pocket. And I touched for a moment with the viewers on the soft break. I don't know if they have a rule in this tournament, but I know that's been a very controversial topic as of late. The soft break really changes the game completely.
Yeah, it's really just all about your best effort, right? Players are going to change speeds depending on how the table's breaking, but there's definitely a difference between a soft break and a good effort with a medium power or better. Nice job here putting him behind the 5. He's going to have to look at a 2-rail line, I believe, or more.
Looks like he's almost right up against that 5 ball, which doesn't give him a lot of room to work with. Yeah, I think you're right. He's going to need to get pretty creative here.
Definitely buried. Is he looking at a 3-rail line? And he's got to beat the 6 here, and he's got to beat the 2 as well. Oh, what a hit this is. What a great hit.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. Really, as much as you could ask for. He wanted to get a great hit. I'm sure he would have liked the cue ball to stop about a half inch or inch shorter than that, but I mean, it's a great effort. Earl's got to reach here.
Yeah, quite a long reach. Anytime the cue ball's down here around the rack pile, you are stretched out, and he's got a very long cue. Handled it well. Two completely different contrasts in style. Ralph, very meticulous, really always tight with the cue ball. Earl, a little bit looser with the cue ball, but just so natural. One of the most natural players to ever live. So in 2006, Brad, Earl earned $64,977 playing professional pool. If you think that's a big number, wait till you hear what RALF SOUQUET earned. Back and forth. Yeah, very well done.
He's a little frustrated that he overrolled the 8 a little bit there, but coming back and forth and the rails being super bouncy like we had talked about earlier, I think this is not a huge deal. It's just a little bit of discomfort for him, nothing he can't contend with.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of Earl in a nutshell, right? There's times where he lets the little things get to him. This is, as Brad said, not a big deal. I think a lot of it is gamesmanship, maybe a little bit of a show. We are all tied up at 1 apiece. And so I'll touch on it. RALF SOUQUET had a pretty good year in 2006. He earned $219,000 in 2006. Now, What I'm talking about is both of these guys, that was to date anyway, their last really good year were both in 2006. Now, they've made plenty of money in years after that. $219,000 by Ralph Souquet.
Yeah, massive numbers, especially back then when, I mean, pool wasn't where it is today, right? I mean, as far as payouts are concerned, and Emily's done a lot to change that and revolutionize it and make sure that, you know, the payouts for the players are a lot healthier. So $200,000 back then, I mean, comparatively, that's a ton of money in today's pool world.
There's no doubt, yeah. So a couple of the titles that Ralph won was the World Pool Masters, paid $20,000, the IPT North American Open, which was a big one. That was back when Kevin Trudeau tried to start up the IPT. I was a little bit of a player in that, but that paid $50,000 to win that. Then he won the IPT World 8-Ball Tournament. The same year, paid $38,000. So I'd say Ralph had a pretty good year in 2006. That has nothing to do with the Moscone Cup and the World NineBall Championships. He took second. So I'd say really probably at his peak there in 2006. And we do have the boss here somewhere in the building, Emily Frazier. She's made it all the way over from Europe. She never stops. All right, what do we notice that's a little different? Well, he got into the balls. He did cut them, got the one down, and that's the EARL Strickland we want to see.
A lot of power and a lot more manageable of a rack. I think that you're going to see him a little bit more dialed in. I think maybe he's still feeling things out and trying to see what works, but that break definitely works. Oh, 2-ball just falls. I'm sure he wanted that tang up.
Yeah, he caught the thin side of the 8 with the 2 there, and he rolled it as soft as he could. Notice the cue ball. It didn't even get to the top rail all the way. So he's not thrilled about it. And the real reason he's not thrilled about it is the pink 4 is up there by the cue ball. So you can only level out here and take distance on the 4. If you even want to go at this, we know he most likely will.
Yeah, I'm thinking, are you better off safing? Should you play the 3 off that, you know, off that long rail down closer to the short rail and try to get hidden a little bit? This is a tough situation.
Yeah, I couldn't fault him to find some type of defensive play. I don't know if he could maybe use the 9 and cut the 3 thin towards the bottom of the 9, but I think he's going to... Is he looking across it? I mean, there's just really not a big future in going to the make here, to the lower right. He doesn't really want to let Ralph see the 3, so if he could use some type of cover, maybe. I actually really like the decision if he can avoid the side.
Yeah, the point came into play, but not in the worst way possible. I'm sure it's not situation ideal for Ralph, so got away with a little bit of one there.
Yeah, most of these guys like to just shave the left side of the 3 and use the 5, 4, and 9. But here he's so close to it, a little off angle, he might be able to use the 7. Catching it more of a half ball, but gonna shoot the initial play here, just try to graze the 3.
Is he gonna leave a window? Just might have.
I'll tell you what, that shot really gets you a long way, though. I'm more of a guy that wants to tuck them up real tight behind the 7, but these guys are so good at leaving that distance. And even if they do leave a little bit of a window, Brad, it's so tough to find protection, and you've got so much distance that the accuracy has to be perfect. And they really do a lot of damage with that shot, which, you know, a guy like myself tends to overlook at times. Just going to try and come into the 3 heavy from the right long rail here. Yeah, it's not going to finish the way you'd liked, I don't believe.
Very straightforward rack here, barring anything, unheard of coming up. Ralph should definitely find his way out of this rack and go up 2-1. 2-1 in a race to 10. Opening day here in the Open 9-Ball Professional Players Championship. This will wrap up on Sunday.
Yeah, finals are at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check everything out, and it is worldwide on WNTTV.com in conjunction with Matchroom there, and then also in conjunction with Digital Pool. Then let's not forget PA Pro-Am Pool, Frank Miletti, who's done all the work here within production and done a great job at it. And then also all the other sponsors who will be touching on the rest of the match. Can't do it without you. Came up a little short, shouldn't be a problem, Brad.
You mentioned PA Pro-Am. Be sure to check out their YouTube channel. Phenomenal YouTube channel with the database of some of the matches here. So tune in, give it a follow.
Souquet looking pretty solid, leading 2-1. Yeah, and there you have it, another great ad, the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida, the Florida Open. As well, the Moscone Cup, they're really becoming the host of pool in the United States. Credit to Emily Frazier and Matchroom Pool. And there's a nice adjustment. He's gone to the other side now, I believe, with the 1. 2 going to get covered up, Brad.
Looks like it's going to be a push early on here. I don't see anything good coming out of trying to make contact with this ball, especially with the rack being as open as it is. 2 balls already pocketed and pretty wide open. Oh no, 1 ball pocketed. Still very wide open.
Yeah, the rollout. So what's he going to roll out to? Can he get to the rail first? He must be able to get to the rail first behind the 7 if he's just going to touch it forward.
I think he's going to be staying right there at the table.
Well, if he can get behind the 7, I wouldn't be so sure, but he might be considering a jump, Brad. A lot of these guys will push out to a jump. And I don't think the rail first is on by any means, right? I think he's going to have to stick it if that's the case, but it looks like he's got the jump cue.
Great shot. Got it. Still got a piece of it. Still got some options here with the 3 ball. I mean, you can play it 2-way. You can go for it. You can still get away with it coming back down table. What do you see, Scott?
Probably use the 6 and 8 here, I would assume. But to your point, very, very good shot. It gets him through another inning, right? We know Earl. He's probably going to pass up most jumps. He's not a big fan of the jump cue. Pretty good speed there, right? I think he's cut off. Might have to swerve this. If you can see a piece of it, it makes a huge difference because now he can chip it back down towards the back of the 8. And he must be able to see a piece of it.
Sure can, yeah. Wow. 9-ball's going to get real big. Not big enough.
Yeah, you looking to bank the 3 back down and use the 6, or is he just looking to bank it down softly? It's real tough, though. He's real straight on it. Might go side rail to side rail again. You can come off our right side of the 3, and you've kind of got the 6 and the 8 as cover, but real touchy with that distance that he's got with the cue ball.
Yeah, I think he would have obviously liked to be a whole lot more behind that other ball, but can't see any problems here for Earl.
Yeah, something must have went wrong there, Brad. I mean, a lot of these guys tend to overlook that edging ball. Jeremy Jones and I talk about it a lot, where you can leave them parallel.
Oh, 8s get big here. Yeah, I'd end up on the 9.
Yeah, quickly down to kick at the pink. Don't think he's not trying. He's extremely accurate the minute he gets down on the ball, so it's not like he's just flailing away. You notice the speed he used there as well, so everything is still under control. He hasn't lost it yet by any means.
It's kind of nice when you get right down on the ball like that, like Earl didn't even give himself time to react in disappointment to the way it was left. He just played it up and knew if he missed, he was going to leave Ralph a tough shot here.
Yeah, once again, he's got the side rail to side rail safety. I don't believe he'll take it this time, but kind of a little awkward on where he wants to get. Okay, so he's going to take the side rail to side rail safe this time. He had it last time, and it tells me that maybe he didn't overlook it last time, maybe just a little bit of a mishit.
It left enough of a piece of it for Earl to be able to make direct contact again, put him back in a tough spot. The table seems to be playing a lot slower than they both have anticipated, because that's a couple shots in a row now where cue ball didn't finish off where they had anticipated it.
Yeah, I mean, those side rail to side rail shots, really the goal is just to keep them off the bank. It's tough to get them snookered every time. I didn't think Earl could find cover there either, so can he get this past the 5 and just kind of tuck up under it? I don't know. What do you think?
Can you get into the 5 here?
It's possible, right?
Yeah.
The caroms, I don't mind it if it's laying right.
Yeah, these big pockets. I mean, it's early enough on in the match. I think that's what I would go for here.
Yeah, it's just got to be laying right.
You might be looking at it.
Yeah. If it's laying right, I think that's the play, absolutely. Maybe a touch of outside will throw the 5 towards the side pocket.
That is indeed what he went for, and looks like he's pretty handsomely rewarded from that. So, great position to be in to go up 3-1 early on in a match against a 774 rated Earl Strickland, who easily can put together a few nice racks here and get right back in it.
And giving this a little extra time. Looking to go to the side maybe and kill it down out of the lower right. Yeah, look how level he keeps the back arm, right? That cue is, he's one of the most level with the cue that is on tour.
Great execution by Ralph, and really great pace that he's maintaining right now. Just calm, cool, composed pace, not rushing anything, and really equal timing on every shot here. It's really composed play. Just enough angle here on this 8 to come back down comfortably, and I think even if you didn't have quite enough on these pockets that are a little bit bigger than the standard WNT pocket at 4.5 inches, you got plenty of room to cheat a pocket if you need to, and can play the game a little bit differently than some of these pros might be used to lately on the tour.
looking pretty good. He really looks comfortable. I just can't get away from how level he's constantly keeping that cue. Even when he goes to a low ball, he just lowers the bridge. The back arm never really changes. At 56 years old, he's still somebody to beat. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, when you mentioned those stats earlier from their peak years there, 2006, that's it's 19 years ago, and to still be playing at this level, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's incredibly impressive.
Yeah, and then, you know, credit to Earl Strickland. He's 63, right? So you got to give the guy credit. He's been through it all. He's been through all the wars, all the battles. Do us a favor, guys. If you get a chance, share the stream, please. Share the stream. WNTTV.com doing a lot for us. That's global. All your replays will be on digitalpool.net. You can watch every single match in the building on digitalpool.net. And then a shout out to PA Pro-Am Pool, Frank Miletti, for all he's doing this event. Earl might be talking to the crowd. Go figure.
Let's hope everyone in the crowd is sitting on their hands patiently watching this match. All right, so Earl's third break at the table, right? We saw a relatively soft break the first time, didn't really work out. Much more power the second time with a really nice break. I think we're going to see something a lot more similar to the latter here.
Yeah, and he is cutting them. And I'll tell you what, that's a great break right there. We'll get some replays going tomorrow following the break, and we can talk a little bit more about how the cue ball tracks. But he tracked it 2 rails and got the kiss he was looking for dead center of the table, and the 2 finishes right here to the lower left. Once again, we were just touching on this, Brad. He's got to come out of the corner thin here on the 2. This fresh cloth will tend to arc the cue ball or kill the cue ball. He's aware of it. See how thin he came off of that ball? He ensured himself a shot on the 3 that way. If you catch it any thicker, you can kind of go towards the 7 or kill the cue ball here low on that fresh cloth. So really all about this shot here.
Yeah, shot of the rack and just a little off there.
Yeah, way too thin. Just caught it way too thin. That's how the cue ball finished where it did. A little surprising. All he had to do was knock that down and get on the pink, and everything led to each other. So big miss there by the Pearl, game number 5. $55 players at Yale Billiards last week. I covered that a little bit. RALF SOUQUET finished in the final 16.
Yeah, I think they say pool is a very streaky sport, right? So, like, you know, even if we haven't heard Ralph's name quite as much in recent times, if he finished top 16 last week, it's very possible for him to repeat today, right? I mean, when you're in stroke, you're in stroke. When you see it, you see it. So.
Yeah, and we know he's been playing quite a bit of pool overseas. Not as much in the States. Yeah, he's got a bottom edge of this here, Brad. Gonna look to use the 6 and the 8. Well, he might have done a very good job if cue ball just maybe one more rotation cuts him off from the left long rail. Might still have him cut off, and if that's the case, he's forced to go 2. Unless he thinks he can split the gap between the 7 and 8 from the right long rail where he's looking now. Probably a big reward there if you could catch a piece of the 3 that way.
Yeah, it's almost automatic that if you miss at it going that way, the 3 is going to go way up table and the cue ball is going to stay down here. It looks like now he's looking at something completely different, maybe splitting. Yeah, splitting in between The 6 and the 7 coming back down.
Yeah, using the second rail here, probably the best decision to get distance or something real good to happen if he can catch it.
Is the 6th ball going to stop?
Still pretty good, right? That's all you can ask for is contact. Forces your opponent to do something else, right? And try to cover him up again. I don't know that the bank is on. I think he's looking at more towards the back of the 9 here.
Yeah, that's probably worst case scenario of what could have happened there. I think, yeah, you can see in the emotion, he definitely wears it on his sleeve. Everyone always knows what Earl's thinking, so everybody in the room knows right now that he is not happy with that shot.
No, exactly. And instead of trying to get behind the 9, I'm pretty sure he was obviously going at the 9. And as Brad just touched on, that's worst case scenario, leaving the 9 up in the lower right corner. One long ball from Souquet, and he'll stretch his lead by 3 games. Wow, really caught it right into the face there. A little surprising, and he's going to get, well, he's going to get Earl on tilt, possibly getting away with this one.
Yeah, you can see there's some chatter already. I think any of us, reputation or not, a game starts like this, I think that can put any player on tilt. Sometimes when things don't go your way, you just feel like they're never going to go your way. All right, he's going to have another shot as long as it goes by that 7, which it appears that it does. I think he's going to have another shot to repeat the shot he just missed.
Yeah, even if he's sliver hooked here, I mean, the jump with the regular cue's easy enough, but he might go to the jump cue. But really a heavy favorite to get this 3 down. It doesn't really matter where he finishes. If he finishes low, below the 4, the 9's laid up. So really it's all about just getting the 3 down here.
Massive pocket too. So with this 4.5-inch pocket, I mean, as long as he makes contact, that 3 should go. And of course, as soon as I say it, it doesn't happen.
I'm actually very surprised at the pace at which he hit it. He just had to have had a sliver of the 7 to get over. Jumped over the 7 last game and made a great shot. So I'm just a little surprised at that miss hit there. Back arm might have gone out from underneath him a little bit. Might get aggressive here to the side. You can't argue with it, can you? Pretty good.
He's looking away. I think I would go back to the jump cue here. I don't know. He looks like he's looking at a kick, but there's almost no reward. If you kick that 3 ball down table, the table's pretty open, and with the 9 ball in there, in that pocket like that, it's a matter of time before this game ends. I think you need to capitalize here, get aggressive, and go for this 3-9.
Yeah, couldn't fault him with the jump cue. I have to agree. If he makes contact, something good could happen. He's probably going to have to land on the 3. That's the only concern he's got, but I'll tell you one thing, he's better hit it a little better than the last jump he shot at. You got to land on the 3 here, basically, though, so he's really elevated. Oh, look at this. There's no way.
If Earl didn't lose his mind before, I mean, this is going to do it, Scott.
Sound, notifications, rings, ringtones, whatsoever. Thank you.
Looks like he's looking just to kick this ball right in the side.
A little surprised he's not coming behind it. He might be able to go into the 5 and make the 9, but
Right at the
yeah, I'm surprised he didn't kick behind it. I know it's right in front of the side, but you could get real good contact and might be able to carry him towards the 5, but he didn't even look at that, so must have felt good at the 3 there, but sooner or later somebody's going to make the 9.
I don't know if it goes now or if he's going to exercise some patience and then, take these 3 balls. I think you take the 3, the 4, and then just the easy 5-9. No need to overcomplicate something that's pretty simple there.
Yeah, really taking a lot of time here. I don't think there's a very big concern with the 5-9 combination. The 9 is in a big ball position, so.
It looked like he ran over and grabbed his extension like he thought he was going to need it. Yeah, it's in his hand. He just realized he didn't need it for that shot.
Well, after a few attempts from both players, gotta give it to Souquet, though. I mean, he made a couple of great hits, but got away with it a few times in that rack. We'll see how Earl responds to that going forward.
Hey guys, check out integritycues.com, offering high-end cues, production cues, pre-owned cues, cases, and accessories. integritycues.com.
We are back. Hope everybody's enjoying it. Share the stream. Digitalpool.net as well. Digital Pool SBX, I believe. Digital Pool /SBX. Digital Pool /SBX. SBX. Share the stream, though, guys. You can see all the matches, all the tables. That's the key to what Digital Pool is doing. And then worldwide on WNTTV.com. High with the 1. Earl's got a good look here, really. It's all about the 3 to the 4, in my opinion. I think everything kind of opens up if that happens.
In my opinion, this might be Earl's biggest rack of the match right now because there's, I've said it a few times, but massive difference between, 5-1 and 4-2 with you at the table breaking. So, yeah, this is a great opportunity for Earl and one that I don't think he's going to miss out on the advantage.
Yeah, he's lost the cue ball a little bit here and not thrilled about it. But the reason he's lost the cue ball, well, there's 2 reasons. One, he overhit it. And number 2, he caught the too thin to the outside of the pocket there, or our left side of the pocket. That's how the cue ball tracked so far. Caught it real thin. Well, I don't know about getting to the pink here. He's going to have to avoid some traffic. Might not even be able to play it.
Smart shot at the right time. I think it was too much work to get up. He knew that, and side pocket loomed big, and 5 ball was massive in the center of the table. So.
the air here. Wants to catch the bottom half of this ball unless he thinks he can clip the top side and get distance. Ralph's struggling a little bit with the jump cue. Did come with one good jump over the 7 early. Yeah, and struggling continuously with the speed is Earl Strickland. It must be steeper than we think, but if you can see a piece of it, he can make this ball. Okay, look out! Round it goes. Where it stops?
Behind the 9 or 6. A little bit of both.
Where it stops, nobody knows.
Get in there.
Yeah, it goes from bad to worse for Earl with this leaving Ralph pretty simple out here.
Yeah, touching on Earl, it seems like it's really just a little bit off with his cue ball speed. It's got him a little bit frustrated. And Ralph has made a couple of mistakes and gotten away with it, but it's part of the game. You know these swings are going to happen in these races, and you've just got to allow it to happen and shake it off. Earl used to be great at shaking it off. He was the one that was controlling his own destiny, and now it seems like he's allowing others to do the same. Landed awkward here. Benefit to this is it's 4.5 inch pockets. He can cheat it a little bit.
This ball to put Ralph ahead 5-1 in a race to 10. Bon Jovi, halfway there.
What?
Oh, is he here?
Yeah, so do us a favor once again, guys. You get a chance, digitalpool.net/SBX. Share the stream. Or you can go to WNTTV.com. Check it out. They're worldwide. Yeah, maybe a little thick again into the rack. The one just going high, Brad.
So Scott, if you're Earl here, do you change anything, or do you keep going same? Do you get looser? Do you get tighter? Do you play more defensive, more open, more of the same?
Well, it all starts with the break, right? He's gone high
Sure.
with the one multiple times, and you know he's a smart person, right? So I think he's just got to make a fine adjustment to the thin side of the one. I mean, that's kind of all where it starts for him, and I feel like if he can't get the break going, he's going to have his hands full. Not that he already doesn't. Does the 2 past the pink to the right side. I feel like he can come back if he can avoid the 8. The 2 does play in the lower right corner. It's all depending on whether it plays in the side or not.
There must have been just a little bit of difficulty there in making the 2 in the side, pulling it back out, but he played it perfectly and puts himself in a good position. As long as he can pop back out for that 4 coming off the 3, should be just fine. This rack is pretty simple after that.
One of those players when he's playing good. The cue ball is somewhat of like Aloysius Yap. I love watching Aloysius when he's playing good. His cue ball is similar to Buddy Hall's. Ralph's always kind of been the same type of guy. Never really keen on the long ball. Never was his forte, but always in line. Cue ball always under control.
Everything just working perfectly for Ralph right now.
Yeah, he just stays in line. Makes it look so solid and smooth, right? Nothing fancy. Even his movements around the table have always remained consistent. His movements in the chair have remained consistent. They're non-existent. He doesn't move in the chair. He doesn't show signs of distress or excitement. He stays the same. And I think this is very common with the European players. All very disciplined on and off the table. And when I mean off the table, they're still playing from the chair. They just don't show it. Another event he won in 2006 that paid $20,000 is the BCA Open, $219,000. In 2006 is like $600,000 or $700,000 now. That was a stellar year. What didn't he win in 2006, Ralf Souquet? Brandon Schuff leading Lance Fessler 6-0.
Score should update in just a moment for you there. It puts Ralph up 6-1. 4 more racks needed. A quick race to 10.
And there's a look at some of the scores. Brought to you by Aramith. Ruiz up 8-5 on Diego. Justin Pelich trailing 2-1 versus Payne McBride. There you see Schuff up 6-1 now. Oyster Botch up 4-2 versus Paul Song. Tyler Steyer trailing 4-3 versus Rita Rita. Pinniger up 4-1 versus Von Der Rey. Jeremy Saucy. Wow. Leading 8-1 versus Mark Russell. And I do not want to butcher that last name. But I would say Buncaud. I don't know. Buncaud. That looks French. He's Canadian, I believe. But I am not. I already butchered it, so it doesn't really matter. All right, Strickland at the pump. Boy, really getting into him heavy now. He's drawing the cue ball 1-2 up, so I don't believe that's what he wants, right? That's not what he's playing. I think the accuracy's just become a little bit of a problem on the break shot for him. Started out real accurate with the break. It looked great outside of the softer break.
Just going to chip the one here and come down table, you think?
Yeah, I think he's got to go behind it. I don't believe he can catch the top side of it, but he can kick to the bottom rail if he'd like, or excuse me, to the right long rail. He's got a lot of opportunities for cover. If he can get in behind it, it's hard to tell. Yeah, he might be covered from both sides here.
Oh, wow.
So he's just looking to push out to where you can kick behind it. All right, that is a rollout, but he isn't going to like this result.
Kim and the 5 are about to be really friendly. The 4 ball. Sorry, color's off here.
Yeah, he's going to be locked up behind the 4 for certain. Key here is really to get the 1 out into open space, right? You don't want the 1 laying next to the side rail to where it can kind of become a big ball. I think open space or down table all the way is good. Yeah, and he's aware of the open space. But he didn't weld him to the pink.
Nine's going to dress up in front of a pocket again.
Yeah, it's not quite hanging, though, so I don't know if they'll go at the 9. Question to begin with is, can you get the 1 down? Might play a 7 ball.
We fixed that last night with the side angle. It fills the table now. In case you want to use it, I'm just letting you know.
What?
The side angle is the whole table now. We fixed it for last night in case you want to.
This angle?
Yeah.
I thought this was the main angle.
That's the main. This is side.
Okay. And there we'll have a look. It's pretty tight. I mean, he might be able to edge the 1 and go to the 7. You're going to get position on the 1. That's what he was trying, but he was off by quite some distance. Needed a much thinner clip. You're talking about the 3-9. It is there. Earl seems to be a little bit beside himself at the moment. Tell you what, at 63 years old, I'm 49, and I'm sitting here in the booth. And I'm sitting here in the booth for a very good reason. My pool game is nothing like it was 12, 15 years ago. At 63, you've got so much expectations on yourself still that it can be very, very difficult, right? Really demanding. You're the one that tends to put all the pressure on yourself. So in defense to Earl, it can't be easy, right? The guy was literally in the conversation with the greatest 9-ball player to ever live. He's still out here at 63 trying to do it. So I say, give him credit.
Earl really needs this rack to finish in a promising way for him in order to stay in this race. He seems really unhappy with the speed of the rails right now. I think he'll settle in. He just needs a little bit more time at the table.
Yeah, can he just pull this back? I don't think he overran it. Maybe he did. He's got to come around. Now a little short. I think he's okay, but he really is struggling with the speed just a bit.
All right, Neural back in it. 2-6.
And there you have it, Classic Billiards in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale area. Dave Partosiak doing a lot for pool, a huge fan of the Moscone Cup, out there making a lot of noise for Team USA this year, he and his wife. He's got a different idea for pool rooms, and I think it's a good idea. He doesn't want the quiet church room environment. He wants more of a loose, fun atmosphere. I can't really blame him. Great people, does a lot for pool, looking to do big things with him in the future. And we're back. Myself alongside Brad Silver. And like you were touching on, Brad, I think that was a really important game for Earl. Anytime he's trailing 4 or 5 games, you're going to see the hand movements, but don't think he's out of it. I think it's part of his makeup, right? But he still continues on. It's not like he's just missing balls for no apparent reason. He's still hitting the back of the pocket. But what that can do, if you're not someone disciplined like RALF Souquet, is it can throw you off a little bit. I think he's real good at doing that.
A lot of talk here between the rack. I think everybody can agree one thing Earl doesn't lack is passion, so he loves the sport.
Got to make an adjustment on the break here. He has not been successful with the 1 in quite a while. He's catching it way too thick. Yeah, see the 1? There goes the cue ball. The 1 tracking real high, so he's really not even cutting them anymore. He started out cutting the balls. That's where I see the frustration coming in, Dave, is where the break shot comes in. He just starts flailing at it a little bit. And it's tough to handle at times for Earl.
So the farther that one ball floats north of that side pocket, you want to adjust thinner, right, to correct back down?
Thinner is the adjustment, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I think we were touching on that last match. So the thinner hit, the more the 1's going past the side, the thinner you've got to catch the 1. If the 1 is coming below the side, the thicker you want to catch the 1. I mean, he's staring down the barrel of a 1-9 combination here. I don't know how you pass it up.
This 1-9 would put Ralph in a 7-2 lead with the break. There you go. Ralph goes up 7-2, back to the table to break.
touch on this once again. The Florida Open, August 5th through the 10th, Caribe Royale in Orlando, the same venue that the Moscone Cup took place, and it is one heck of a venue. A lot of things to do there. You can swim, you can golf. They've got great restaurants, they've got great bars. They have driving ranges there as well inside, which are those digital driving ranges. I don't know what you call them exactly, but there's all sorts of things to do in that venue with a great steakhouse. Frank was there last year as well. The venue was popping. I can tell you, when we were commentating, you could not hear yourselves, even with the headset on. It was through the roof. Need to get that atmosphere over to Europe this year. Ralph definitely going to be a little bit more controlled success last time with the one on the left side. Oh, looky here. Short with the one. Yes, I believe the 5 passes the 7. The 6 is awkward. Really all about getting on the 5 here, Dave. Does it pass? It's pretty tight, right?
I don't know if it passes now.
Yeah, he's going to have to punch out if that's the case, or come short side, but I don't think short side really has a lot of value unless you're looking to the defense. So it must pass. Yeah, a little bit misled, right? Hard to tell sometimes unless you're at the table. Can really make you sound silly. And now he's pointing at the side pocket. Well, just avoid it, Earl. Get on past it. He's going right at it. Goodness gracious. Living on the edge, Mr. Strickland.
Ended up a little bit awkward there on that ball. Side pocket now looking kind of big. Just got to avoid that. Try to punch right below it, maybe right above it.
It's just kind of been the story for him. His cue ball's just been off, whether it's been short or long. When he's in close range, though, he's still very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we mentioned his age a couple times. Not that he's aging out of the sport, but when you're a little bit younger, your eyes are a little bit different. So, yeah, I think on the close-up shots, I'm sure he's still as sharp as he ever was. So.
Yeah, touching on that, right, at 63 years old. I also think there's other things at play, right? Getting down on the ball all the way could be a bit more difficult. The back leg, the back arm, everything kind of falls into place there. Just life is a lot more difficult when you get up there playing a professional sport.
And the stamina of the tournament grind, right? Because a lot of these, I mean, people forget this is an athletic sport, whether you want to believe that or not. I mean, you need to be in the gym, you need to be working out, eating right, getting the right sleep in order to perform at your highest. And it's a long day. I mean, we start early mornings, we go late nights, and we're right back up at it the next day. So it's a lot to ask out of anybody, regardless of age.
Push buttons. Why? Gotta make clips.
All right, we're going to get another look at the break from the big man. Yeah, at this point, Brad, I think he's just smoking him from head on, really. He's not really cutting the ball as much as we would think.
You're clearly disappointed with how he ended up on the one, but I mean, you just hit it really hard. You got exactly what you did. You made some balls, you made a lot of noise, and you didn't get the best leave.
There's nothing wrong with pushing out right here, just right of the chalk. I mean, you know you're going to be buried behind the 6, though, so maybe just straight down to the bottom rail from where he's at, leaving it a little bit awkward.
I think if the pocket was smaller, I would consider really using that 6-8 and trying to tuck the cue ball in. But I think with the pocket being so big, I don't know. I just feel like there's an opportunity for a lot to go wrong.
Yeah, I don't know that he can even get to the one now, though. I think he's going to be forced to roll out. So he's going to look at the backdoor kick, and I don't blame him. There's a lot of cover that way with a high ball. Going to pass it up. The kick becomes much more difficult when it's this far off the rail, so what I'm talking about there is the kick and stick isn't exactly straightforward here. He's going to smoke this, I think, and just hit it with power. Well, it's a little bit more controlled. I don't mind it. I do like the fact at which the speed was. I think that's okay. Left a good look, but he was at least attempting something under control. Yeah, I believe he can make the one here, Brad. Might be tighter than we think.
Not only he's looking at it like there might be enough room, I think he's looking at the trajectory off the rail for the 2, but I don't think the 2 is a problem if he makes the 1, but...
Yeah, you would think the 2 is pretty natural as far as the position. Wondering if he has to swerve this a little bit to get it down. Sure, giving it a lot of time tells me it might be more difficult than we think. Yeah, he had to swerve it. Very well done.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, anytime you're swerving with distance, meaning the 2 that he had to swerve around was so close to the 1 is so much further from the cue ball. Very good stuff by RALF SOUQUET. Yeah, so he's kind of got that awkward angle. He's just got to beat the 9 here to the top side, I believe, unless he's steeper than I think. Yeah, he's going directly towards it, so he either had to beat it low or high, one of the two. Went directly into the face.
I think there's two different paths forward here, right, Scott? I mean, he could go for the bank, right? And I mean, there's some coverage going up, or you could try to lock to the 9. I mean, what if you're at the table, what are you doing here?
I don't mind either of those.
Yeah.
I don't mind the bank to the lower right here. If you miss it short, you're okay.
Yeah, comeback should float mid-rail. I think he tried to get him on the 9, and it just slowed down.
Still think he got him?
Hooked him a little there? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got him. You know, this is a ball that all of the elite players can jump, right? And really pretty high percentage, because I don't think you're getting over a lot of the 9, right? So you're just going over a piece of it, but all of the 800s and up are probably going to look at jumping this ball. They're going to at least take a look at it. Earl, not so much.
Almost looked like if it didn't make contact that second time, it was definitely going back to bank in that other corner there.
Yeah, I think it's all been really a matter of Earl's cue ball just not really on point at all this match. Ralph, for the most part, he's not made a lot of noise, but he's played very solid, to be fair.
Yeah, Ralph seems to have gotten comfortable really, really quickly and adjusted to the playing conditions, and it just seems like, you know, as you said, Earl just can't get the ball where he wants it to go, and the rails are just playing a little bit too different for him, and he can't find any part of the game, and he can't get his break working, which you touched on earlier, which I think is the biggest issue in 9-ball.
I was just going to touch on this. The U.S. Open, if you haven't been there, Harrah's Resort in Atlantic City. Right now, in my opinion, it's by far the best event in the United States. WNT pre-sale tickets, April 14th, and then the general sale, April 16th. If you haven't been to that resort, it's as good as it gets.
I just don't, Brad. I thought you were trying to talk to me.
You can always tell who's about ready to break with the hand movement. Kaiser. It's very distinct. It's been a constant struggle, Brad, getting the one in the side.
Yeah, and they both went in the drink the last couple times they're on the break, so I think if they don't get the break dialed in, this is going to be a long weekend for both players.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the most important shot in the game. And with the alternate break format, you've got to take full advantage when it's your opportunity at this level. See how he handles this rack. And you know, I mean, gosh, it's 63 years old, and obviously not picking on him, but what about the idea of maybe slowing down a bit instead of like getting so quick? I think maybe, well, I guarantee you I'm not telling him that, but I think maybe it's a good idea, right? If he slows down, his stroke is still amazing. He's still a great shot maker. But maybe you just don't have the momentum or the pace that you had when you were a little bit younger, so take a few more seconds, it might help.
Yeah, just another beat, a little bit more care and concern, and I think he'd be happier with how some of these end up.
Yeah, I'm still a big fan of him. I love to watch him play when he's playing good. He still can. And that safety was nice. Look out now. Do you want to come in at a steep angle with an inside ball and just catch it heavy? You've got to avoid the 6 with the 5 if you do this. But you could provide cover behind the 6 as well, so it all depends on what the 6 ends up doing here. He's got to avoid it with the 5. He's going to find the gap. Maybe came behind the 5 a little thin. That's how the cue ball finished, more towards the center.
I think that's what you had just touched on, right? Just the extra beat for something like that. That's a very routine shot. I don't think Earl would ever miss that in a million years. And just didn't end up where he wanted it.
Yeah, a little bit of a shocking miss there. Wasn't quite expecting it. Coming off our bottom side, his top side of the 5 here possibly, to use the 6 and the 9, 7 and 8. You've got a huge wall here. You don't want to hit the 6. You just feathered it.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Great shot, and way to be patient and make Earl really work for this and not go for anything crazy, even with a big lead. I think it says a lot about his game.
No, it's a really good point you're just touching on, right? I think that's exactly Ralph's game plan. Obviously, he's going to play the table in the game, but he knows that there's no necessary reason to take big chances if you can lock him up. And it could add some frustration to the match within Earl. So like this situation here, I mean, I believe you've got to go. The 5 is laying up here in front of the lower left. Pretty sure you're going to get some type of natural look on the 6. So I think you've got to go here. Never going to pass this up. And we've talked about this flick from the backside when the 9 sits there off the break shot. It's so ironic that you'll end up in such an awkward position. You'll see the 6 does not pass the 9. You can see how steep the 6 is to the lower right. Now going to use the 9, Brad.
Don't hate it. I mean, it's a great shot. I mean, it makes Earl need to work from here to get out, and adds to a little bit more frustration that he's at the table without a great look, puts all the pressure on him. So I think a really smart, timely play for Ralph there.
Yeah, he was definitely trying to get the cover on the 9, but not the end of the world, right? Still Brad, struggling with the speed of the object ball and the cue ball is Earl.
Yeah, and I think Ralph is an aware player, right? So, I mean, when he took that last shot, even knowing that he's not going to get all the way there in the exact position that he wanted to be, he knows he's playing an opponent that's not comfortable yet, and he's putting him in a very uncomfortable position. So I think here he's going to put his foot back down on the gas, and I think he's going to get out from here. But I think really smart shot at the right time last shot there.
Yeah, if you're coming all the way around, just watch the 8. Just watch the 8. I think he's going to stay well short of it. Great touch, great speed. You might have to come down to the bottom rail and out to the second rail. Yeah, he's kind of in between there, Brad, where he can either punch all the way down and out. Wants to avoid the 9, so I think it's more of a center ball with a touch of right. Might be able to hold. I don't think he's playing it that way. Could have afforded another couple of rotations. Now we can just draw over one rail. Unless he feels like he's got a line going forward. I think it's a little steep to go forward, though. Stretching the lead to 6. Up 9 games to 3. Now Earl clapping for Ralph. I don't know if that's real sincere, but we'll go with it for now. Do us a favor, everybody. Share the stream, digitalpool.net/SBX. And you can also go to WNTTV.com.
All right, so Ralph on the hill here. Earl up to break. All the pressure on Earl. Ralph just 1 rack away from closing this. Moving on to the next round, staying winner's side.
What's up, boss? How are you? How was your trip? Yeah, Earl needs to make something happen in the next few innings, or it will be too late if it's not already. The big boss just came back here and said hello. Emily Fraser made the long trip from the pond. Get this to the side, right, Brad? It's not too thin, is it?
No, I don't. I think it's fine. I think he that 2 is also out enough that he should be able to play for fairly decent position on the 3. I think the 3 is the biggest ball here. I mean, if he makes the 3, the table's pretty open. It's all about how it's going to come from the 2 to the 3.
Yeah, and it can be tricky, right? Where that two's laying can definitely be a little awkward because it's deep. So I think you might need to come into this a little thicker and punch out and catch that gap between the 5 and 6.
Yeah, there's 2 windows, and then that window between that 5 and the 6 is really, really small.
I think that's really the lead that you have to take. If he tries to get down here below it in the cut, it feels like you could get behind the 6 real easy or come too far. Or just get absolutely perfect.
Perfect.
The speed was perfect.
I think out of all the players we've watched on the stream table so far, Ralph has really taken to the speed and really adjusted well to the playing conditions, and it seems like he's right at home. So
Yeah, he spent about 20 minutes out here practicing before the match started. Earl showed up a little bit later. Earl had some balls on the table. He probably spent about 10 minutes, but Ralph spent at least 20 minutes on the practice table. Well, he caught it thin, but he got it down. Is he looking to go forward, possibly? I felt like he could still come out towards the center for the 6, but maybe he has to go forward. What do you think, Brad? You can play the 7 in the top right, getting short side, and obviously the 7-8 combination is available as well.
I think it's pretty natural here to chase forward, play the 6 into the side, roll up the table, play the 7 opposite the 8, and then right in. But if he wants to pull back and go about it a different way, that window is definitely open too. And there's enough angle and a big enough pocket that you can cheat it either way. So
Going to drag down. Now
There you
he
go.
can get to the short side. Yeah, so the last match we covered, Billy Thorpe defeated Rodney Morris. Now it looks like Ralph Souquet going to seal the deal versus Earl Strickland. Yeah, a little steeper than he would have liked to have had it.
the nice thing here is it doesn't matter where you're at on the table with this 7. You don't really need a whole lot of position here to get that 8 in, and then it's very easy to get to the 9.
I think I've pushed that side view twice all day.
Bullshit, I've seen you do it 10 times in a row.
You need rest. Yeah, it's been a really solid performance for Ralph, and I think he, going forward, I think he just got to revisit the break, and I know this format lends to really needing to take advantage when it's your break. Earl, going to concede. Brad, thanks for joining me. You've done a great job. We're going to continue to move forward. I don't know if they're going to show another match now or go to some other tables. Yeah, so they are going to do that. We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. Digitalpool.net/SBX.